Welcome to the first edition of a rap analysis episode. Now, I love wrestling. That's what I love. You can see by all the shirts, I do professional wrestling. Um, but there's another thing that I have a huge passion for, and that's rap or hip hop. And it's always been a huge part of my life ever since I was 15 years old. And so I really want to do a show breaking down songs that mean a lot to me and just analyzing them and giving you my thoughts on them and just picking apart each bar and getting other people's opinions, hoping I got a lot of people commenting on them. And remember, this is just how I feel. I might not be right or wrong, but to me, this is my favorite song off of the Doctor's Advocate album by The Game. The song is Too Much featuring Nate Dogg. It's track number 7, and it was never released as a single, but it was my favorite song on the album. Production credit to Scott Storch. From what I was looking up, I did not see that there was any samples used or cleared for this song, so I don't know if it was completely made for scratch or they just nobody was able to pick it up or what the deal with that was. This song has, to me, it's just really well done. The production's on point. Obviously, Scott Storch is not gonna have too many misses when he does that. But the Game is going through a lot right now. This was his second album, and he had a lot to prove. It was released November 14th, 2006, and it ended up being number one on the U.S. Billboard 200 charts. It sold 360,000 copies in its first week alone. But he had a lot of critics on him, thinking that he could not outdo the documentary, especially because he was not recording with Dr. Dre anymore, and he was not a part of G Unit anymore. And then he had that whole beef with 50 Cent and G Unit with his whole GU Not campaign at the time. And but I really felt he lived up to the hype and then some. I really feel he cemented his place as a top rapper. I love that he calls himself The Game. Now, like, I know wrestling and there's The Game Triple H, but I just love it because people criticize Game a lot for name dropping, but I love that about him. It's like he's a student of the game. That's why he's The Game. He always is paying homage to other people and people that paved the way, and he's like, you can tell he does his homework. Like, that's what I like about him. So to me, I like the name dropping. Who doesn't like a good name drop? And besides, most of the time, the people he's name dropping, he's had a history with, so it's not like he either that or paying homage to the West. He kind of brought the West back into the spotlight, as after the Chronic 2001, there wasn't a lot of noise, even though there was some great rappers and some great albums at the time. When the documentary came out, it just kind of pushed it back into the mainstream. So this song for me it's just everything about it's good. I can enjoy it. I've listened to it countless times, thousands of times. It's on every playlist I have. And Game also has some great lyrics here. He really, puts his work into this track. And he starts out saying, I'm from the old hood, something like your hood, what people don't know good or know Suge, but the blow good. I guess what he's just trying to say is, like, Suge's not even a factor anymore. Like, it's not. No one worries about him. No one's seen him around in Game's hood and where he grew up in his block. But the blow's good, so they rock it like Tracy McGrady. Send it to Houston in a gravy Mercedes. He's a product of his environment. Grew up in the '80s, so that means him, Kanye, and Young Jeezy all crack babies. Now I'm not sure if Young Jeezy and Kanye West appreciated that shout out, but I mean, it made for a good rhyme, and it's true that they grew up in that generation or whatnot, and he must have been somewhat close with Kanye because Kanye produced a track off this album. So it's evident his flow is heaven sent. First LP, which was a documentary, on the same shelf as The Veterans. True, it sold like 5 million. I don't believe this Doctor's Advocate sold quite as much as a documentary, but it still did well. And same shelf as The Veterans. He can't be fucked like a lesbian. He's the hip hop. What Cartoon is, the Mexicans. Cartoon, obviously a famous Mexican, and he's saying he's famous in rap, which he is. Now, in this series, we'll talk about a lot of braggadocious raps. A lot of them, in rap, it's so exaggerated. They exaggerate for the punchlines and whatnot, but that's that's what it's supposed to be. Like when people, to me, the way I take it, when they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," it just means like they're gonna kill you on wax. Like they're better. They're gonna out rap you. Like that's how I always take it. I feel like rap and wrestling has a lot of similarities where a lot of these rappers aren't living the life that they talk about it, but they've still been around it, and they're giving you, they're reporting what's actually going on. It's rap has always been probably the realest music to me because it's in tune with society, the good and the bad. So he's the same shelf as the veterans. He's to hip hop what cartoonists, the Mexicans. He's an artist. He never claimed to be the hardest, just number one since Big and Pac departed. Now, I find that funny because guaranteed somewhere on some song, I didn't do that much homework, but guaranteed he must have claimed to be the hardest on at least one song. But I mean, I love this song. I love Game, but it's okay to poke a little fun here and there, and also like see some holes through the thing. But it's just a great rap. It's just a braggadocious. He's kind of laying it out for you. You can kind of picture it. And then, so he's saying he's number one since Big and Pac departed, which is debatable, but everything's debatable. To a lot of people, maybe he was. Maybe he was their favorite since Big and Pac. And now he's kind of addressing that, a lot of people that he used to ride with ain't riding with him anymore because he goes, Nate's riding with me, Snoop's riding with me, all you other people used to be good like Ken Griffey. Now, I guess you can maybe, if you know the song word for word like me, you would see that obviously I'm avoiding saying the N-word because there's no place for me to be saying that. So I just try and in the context, like it could be homie, it could be people, it could be killer, like I'll just switch it up, but I think you know what I'm trying to replace. So they all used to be good, like Ken Griffey, but now they're not, except for, some of them still riding with him. Obviously Nate Dogg still did the song with him, and he's on fire like the tip of a blunt, on fire like a person that let it drip for a month. Like that, what an STD reference there, right? And then he's a blood, but you can crip if you want. Just let it bump like you got Scott Storch tied up in the trunk. I love how he shouts out Scott Storch on making the track by incorporating him, not just doing the classic produced by Scott Storch at the beginning or whatever, or like Scott Storch, let's go, or whatever. Like, and Scott Storch produced 2 songs on this album. The other one was Let's Ride. He released Let's Ride as a second single. I just like this one more, and I like how what we're gonna get into here is we almost have 3 choruses in the song because he just basically finished his first verse, and at the end of every verse he ends it by saying, "I'm the ice cream truck man, guns in the trunk man, drugs in the trunk man, call me the front man." And then it goes into the chorus, and it's too much, right? So too much Chris in the club not to get drunk, too many bitches in the studio not to fuck, or it might be in the world, too much chronic in the studio not to roll it up, and too much bass in the trunk so let it bump. So to me, like that's the second chorus, and then of course Nate Dogg, the king of choruses, comes in and drops his little part, which there's nothing special, but Nate Dogg can take a pile of crap and make it the greatest thing ever, but it's still solid, and Nate Dogg never disappoints, and he goes, "You look like you're mad as fuck, but who cares, grabbing her by the arm, cause she stares, don't know how much attention you pay, you better be ready to die in this game." So yeah, then you have the 3 choruses, and then Game goes back, and he says, "I thought I told you I'm done with the beef clown, my son 3 now." Now, as we all know, this is 2006. In the next 13 years, we're now in 2019, he's had his share of beefs. He said he was done with the beef, and maybe at that time he felt like it, and he was trying to get past that and say, he's going to be the bigger man. But Game is always, he's always into something, isn't he? But that's what we like about it too. It's just like wrestling. You like the backstage stories and the scoops. Rap, I always like the beefs. I can't help it. Like, I never want to see anybody get hurt, like the whole Tupac and Biggie getting shot and stuff like that. But I love a good battle, especially if it's kept on wax. So he's done with the beef clown. His son 3 now, and he's been watching Dre so long that he's making beats now. Now, maybe he did make some beats. I tried to do a Google search to see if he did have any production credits. It gave some production credits on a bunch of the skits. Now I'm sure he maybe made a lot of beats, maybe he made a bunch of like on his mixtapes and stuff like that, but I couldn't find anything, so please, if you know, let me know. But definitely on this album, he didn't make any beats on the album, but it could be just saying like, because I know Eminem started watching Dre, and then he started doing a lot of production himself. Now, so games on the rebound, like Ben Wallace in the D-Town, he means Chi-Town, fucking it can go down. He can spit the whole round, full plus full pound. It's the Wild Wild West, call it a showdown. And I like how he segues into that. It's Wild Wild West, call it a showdown. He's Billy the Kid till they split his wig. He'll come back from the dead, tell him kill me again. He's like talking about the old gunslingers. I like how he keeps a little theme there for a couple of bars there, and then he says, "Put my head on a barrel, dare a killer to shoot me. He's gangster. He took more shots than Tukey." Now, at this time in 2006, recently Tukey Williams was making big news as the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Tukey Williams was like one of the founders of the Crips gang, and he had been in prison a long time, and there was a lot of controversy about the death penalty at this time, and whether or not they should ban it or keep it going, and whether Tukey should get it and whatnot. So he was in and out of the news a lot, and you know, a lot of people from California are familiar with the Crips, right? So it was great for this period of time to drop it. So he says he's alive, so he's gonna take a Patron shot for Tukey, roll a California blunt, and keep watching the movie. Because it's like, I think what he's saying is like, it's politics, it's real life, but it's still like, But anyway, so he's been inspired by this gangbang and shit since he was 2. He brought the best West Coast back. What the fuck did you do? And then he goes back into the ice cream truck man, drugs in the trunk man, call them the front man. They both do the chorus, Nate Dogg, and then boom, they're gonna hit verse 3. So I like the way he does this one. It's drive fast, both hands on the dash, close both your eyes and hope that you don't crash. It's almost like for me, the way I took it is like I should just close my eyes and just kind of zone out into this song. Obviously, I don't think he's saying actually do that. I mean, if people actually did everything that people said in rappers, like, you gotta be stupid. Like, the whole Eminem controversy about when he came out and the things he was saying and how he addressed it on so many songs about like how don't do as I say, I'm just a rap, you know what I mean? Like, don't take it to heart. But anyway, he's lyrical homicide, both airbags out, roll the fucking windows down, let the bass out. Homies, drop the top or whatever you in. Bitches, let the ponytail blow in the wind. Inhale the chronic, blow out dollar signs. I like how he's staying with it. Like, the whole thing, you could picture yourself riding in the car, right? Like, to me, I love the visual, when you can get the visual of what they're saying. Game's always got a good, strong voice. I think, to me, rap has always helped. Some of my favorite rap songs they don't have good production. And some of my favorite rap songs, all they really have is good production. But to me, lyrics really are the first thing. Production is second, but I mean, rappers' voices, to me, are a big deal. Someone could say a way flyer rap than, like, to me, Biggie's voice, him and Jay-Z, if you compared them, they could both say the exact same rap, but I would like it better the way Biggie said it, because I like his voice and his delivery more. Like, that's just the way it is for me. Look, everyone is different, obviously, right? Okay, so you can drive a Bentley if only in your mind. 4 doors, leather and wood, ride like you got a horse stable under your hood. And he keeps a chrome 4.5 under his hood, so if he dies, then bury him under his hood. So, who had the hottest bitch in the game wearing his chain? Mr. H to the Izzo, Nas or Hurricane. So I guess he's saying, like, his girl, I think Nas was with Khalees at the time, Jay-Z with Beyonce. I don't even know who Game was with, but he's claiming that she's the hottest bitch in the game, just like the others, so he's doing well for himself, obviously, right? And I love this line. As long as my family's straight, then read this at my wake. I gave him the documentary and they scraped the plate. So he's basically saying, oh, like, as soon as he's successful, everybody had their hands out, was taking everything they could from him. And it sounds like, to me, that he was generous and he was, he's making sure everybody was straight, but, he's kind of like bitter about it. Like, he didn't mind doing it. He would have done it anyway, but he doesn't like being begged or guilted into doing it. And 20 magazine covers, so look at his face. He cannot, will not ever be replaced. And then boom, I'm the ice cream truck man, guns in the trunk man, call me the front man. Too much Chris in the club, not to, And then Nate Dogg comes back at the end. He drops 2 more bars for us. just to close it off, just to perfectly complete the song with a nice exclamation point. So this was just an experiment. I don't know how it's gonna go. You know, who wants to listen to someone sitting there talking about rap the whole time? But if you're someone that means a lot to me, and to me especially the old songs, like for me, the rap that I was really into was from like 90, 93 till about 2010. Once I had a kid, and you know, you can't be playing that music all the time constantly, I kind of got out, and rap was evolving. So I think most of the songs I'm gonna do will center in about that 17-year period. You know, songs that help raise me, help me become a man, and just help me get through things, like I mentioned before. So hopefully it's gonna go well. And I just enjoy doing it. So I'm having fun doing it, and people that are real students of the game, no pun intended, of the rap game, like me, I love this kind of stuff. Like Nori really inspired me with Drink Champs. Like, let's give people credit, or give them the flowers while they can still smell them. Like that's how I feel too. It's like I just want to pay homage. Like I'm not saying any of these rappers will ever see my video, but if I can get more people out there to you know, to get into the songs that I enjoy, and maybe get them some more credit, then it was fun, and I'm having fun doing it. But going back to my wrestling background, I will say this: like, or you get a leg drop; comment, or you get a clothesline; subscribe, or you get a suplex. This has been the rap analysis of the game Too Much featuring Nate Dogg. I hope you enjoyed it.